Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Onika KB, a member of staff at the Culture Department, and a huge supporter of the work of Little Man Pelle. There are many persons who are not aware of your work, and we want to use this forum to highlight the work you do in the arts fraternity, and more especially in the Calypso arena. Today, I'd appreciate you answering a series of questions, starting with, who is Rupert Pelle?
Well, let me first say that I am that I am, Rupert Pelle, better known as Little Man. Born and raised, grew up in the Point area. I've been to 3 schools as far as I can remember. The Roman Catholic School, situated at Church Street, St. John's Boys School, and Sunday School.
How did you get into writing?
Yeah, ever since I was taught to write at school, I more or less used to read a lot of comic books like Archie and other stuff. And for some reason or the other, I started to write short poems when I was at boys' school. Just start meddling around. And then I think it was in 1968 when this guy coming from the country. He's popular now as La Tumba, but he come into town with the name Deceiver. So he come into the area in Point where I was living, and he come with a few calypsos from country, and he used to be there singing, and myself and him become close friends, and I more or less used to be his manager. Anybody want him to sing, they have to come to me. I would charge him 25 cents, 10 cents, whatever, for him to sing his different song. I think one of the songs was Mr. Prince, as far as I can remember. But then they had a political upheaval in 1968, and there was a riot, so to speak, and he had a brother by the name of Glenn, I think, that got shot while the defense force officers were going around getting people out of the street. And we did this, I wrote my first calypso entitled Riot 68 in Antigua. Right, but prior to that, I was just playing around with writing a few nursery rhyme lines and things like that.
Now, you've named La Tumba as one of the persons you've written for. Who are some other popular names of persons that you would have written for?
La Tumba, Deceiver was 1968. I never wrote the next calypso again until 10 years later. And that was for one Prince Jasbo, deceased. And then after writing a song for Prince Jasbo, I think this song was entitled From Statehood to Independence, because at that time he was more or less a statehood territory. And it was from that year everything just come into play. It was Daddy Aiko, followed by Calypso Farmer, followed by Super, a lot of the juniors. And to name a few. You can't name a few because there's plenty.
Who are some of those juniors?
Well, first you have Super. I think he migrated. So Super, he resided at Glanville's at that time. Yeah. Right, I think, let me see if I can remember. Anyway, I wrote for him. I can't remember the title of the song. Oh, I think it was Thanks to My Teachers, something like that.
Okay.
And then, Twanto. There's a lot of juniors already. I can't come up with most of the names. Yeah, but there was a lot of them. Right? And No, I never wrote for Kester, but I was a member of the subcommittee, the Calypso subcommittee, when John Jarvis was chairman. Myself and George Jonas used to train the junior Calypsonians, right? To me, it was better then, when we used to train them, because we used to have them going around, sometimes at different schools, singing, and we used to make sure everything was in order. Everybody have their song together. And one of the amazing things about that group of Calypsonians is that all of them know each other's song, and all of them just sing each other's song at all time. Out of that group, I think we have Young Lion, you have Kester, you have Tony, just to name a few, right? And then I think there was a break, again, between myself and the juniors, until, how it was now, I think a parent come to me and asked me to help her son, because she wanted her son to go in for the junior competition. So I wrote that song, and then after that it was lyrics month, right? His mother approached me to do a tune for him, and I think we had 3 years, He won the junior Calypsonian for junior monarch for 3 years straight. I think he's the only Calypsonian in Antigua that sing in one competition 4 times. He sing in the junior final, he sing in the King of Kings. I think he sing in the teenage pageant, and he also sing in the monarch competition. Right? In that very year.
That was 2008.
Yeah, so I remember the person that come to me before, lyrics man. It was Sarah. I don't know, her daughter, Lady Challenger, yeah. Yeah, and from the time I wrote the song for Lady Challenger, there wasn't any turning back. Up to now, it was Lady Challenger and her brother. Right, when I wrote for them. She also won 3 consecutive years too. She should have won 4, but she wanted to enter in the female final. So the song that she was supposed to sing in the junior competition for the 4th year, there was where Taylor come into play now. Taylor, mother approached me and tell me to help Taylor. So I wrote this song for Taylor, and Taylor, 3 years too. Right? But Lady Challenger, if she had stayed around, if she didn't migrate, it would have been a great challenge to her, because I think when she entered in the female competition, I think she was her first run-up or something like that. You know, I think she beat the champion. Ivy in that particular year. The competition was down in Judge Bay. Next question. So we cover lyrics man, we cover Taylor.
It's quite a bit actually. It's pretty
Yeah, but it was not only lyrics man, it was lyrics man and his brother.
Yeah.
And it was Lady Challenger and her brother.
Are there any interesting memories as it relates to your writing for artists?
You would have to be a lyrics man. Yeah. Because he went through a lot at one time. The other parents and even senior Calypsonian think that, you know, he shouldn't be competing. And I think it's not that he shouldn't compete, as he was at age, but it's the type of material that he was singing, and I realized that he won the competition before the competition itself. Right? And I think I also had a delay there until I was approached by Eve, 20 or 15, 16, somewhere around there, when she told me she would like me to write a song for Baby Eve. And that's how Baby Eve come into play. That's how we start to, that's how I start to help her, because most of the time I think, well, all what I'm doing is helping them, because they are juniors. And even though I'm helping them, I always try and tell them to learn to write, learn to play the guitar, learn to play some kind of instrument. Go to the pan yard, learn to play a pan. So you develop some musical skills. Right? I always encourage them to write, but the only one that I see interested in writing was Lyricsman. He was the only one that adhered to me when I say, look man, you must learn to write your own song. Stop depending on someone to pen a song for you. So that's why I see probably he's out there with his own band now, writing his own soca, but he was always into soca, he loved soca. Right, so there it was with me and Eve now, G-Eve. She won the first year, she lost the second, and the other 3 years she won. I was a little upset with the second year, I thought she should have won. So I said to her mother, you know what? I'm going to chump. And from here on, I'm going to chump. I'm going to make sure she win the competition before the competition starts. So I make sure the material that she's getting to compete against the others would be strong enough to make her win. So I think she has a 4 or 5 title to her name. Yeah, something like that.
What is your goal when writing? Just like you said with G.E., after losing the second year, you made sure that her material was good before putting it out.
Well, my goal is to just write a good song. The arranger, he get it to arrange, he will make that song become a better song. And the artist now will have to go on the stage and make it be the best song, if they are to win the competition. Because you can have a good song and you can win the competition because of how you go on stage and deliver the material. So I always tell them, you have a good song, go and make good use of it with your arranger, and then when your time comes to perform, yeah. And I never believe I write a good song until I hear somebody criticize it. Right? If I write a song and we can sit down in a group and discuss the song and add and subtract, something wrong with the song. Something definitely have to wrong with the song. And you can't just change a line in a song like that. You write a song and somebody take it and change a line, you can destroy the whole song. Because you don't know what is leading up to the second verse or the third verse. And have to do with the line in the first verse that you interfere with.
Have you accomplished everything you have set out to do?
I never have any great plan. All I know is, can remember, it was when Calypso Farmer. He should have won the competition, but for some reason he did. When he come first run-up, he was actually, the second or third Calypsonian in Antigua to beat Short Shirt in a competition. So to me that was a great achievement, that at least I write a song for a Calypsonian who went to sing and beat Short Shirt, guys. You beat Short Shirt in any competition. You beat him. I remember it was they had a car for the winner. I can remember Swallow was coming on High Street in the car and people were telling him, come out of farmer car. We don't care a farmer car. People thought farmer had won the competition.
What are your current views on the current state of Calypso, especially as it relates to standards and growth within the art form?
I think you have to do with the generation. Different generation approach things differently. Right? If you check the radio, the generation radio personality, they're into a different type of music. So then and therefore you're not going to hear calypso like you used to hear them before, even though you have more radio stations. But you don't have the amount of DJs, as they call them, playing calypsos like before. So what you really need, if you really want any serious improvement in the art form of calypso, a generation going to have to come that just want to sing calypso. And that might make a vital change in terms of a new development of the art form itself. Otherwise than that, you're just going to accustomed to hear the household names, the Zakaris, the Beer, the Destroyers, the Solos, the Willie Wawas, the Richie Francis. I mean, who is the last new calypsonian come on the scene for the past 3-4 years? Right. Right, even some of them, as soon as they left the juniors, they jump into soca. So it depends on what generation come and decide, well, look, we want to deal with calypso. And things should be in place to help them too, because they need that more than ever. To help them develop their art form, to help them develop themselves as calypso artists, and to see how far they can take it. Because so much of people are out there singing soca now. And it seems as though the only people that make it in soca is people who have the band. Otherwise than that, you might wait until the carnival come around. You sing a soca or two. And that basically, and the same thing with calypso. You sing a calypso or two, and that's it till next carnival again.
So with that, what are some of the things you would like to see established here in Antigua Barbuda as it pertains to culture and the arts?
The first thing I would like to see is that you have the oldest steel band in the world, who don't even have a state-of-the-art pan yard. They have some like a dirty galvanized building near one gutter. And, you know, it's not easy. They should be, let me put it this way, a state-of-the-art pan yard should be built for the oldest steel band in the world, if that's what it is. Whereby at the bottom, the first story, they keep the pans and the chali, whatever. To the back, you have an area where they teach you to build pan. And on the second floor, it is well decorated with all the members of Hell's Gate, first players, set of first players, the different generation of Hell's Gate players then. How much time they win the panorama. And they even have a stage up there where they can, you know, have performance and concert and whatever. But I think something needs to be done. And it should be governmental sponsor, because the steel band itself can't handle that financially. So in terms of culture, the cultural minister, whoever, should think about that. Put in Hell's Gate in a place whereby a group of tourists can come down to the state-of-the-art pan yard, pay a fee to come in, hear some pan music, and, you know, just have a good time.
Our final question is, are there any last words you'd like to leave with the people?
My last words to them would be that we got to protect our culture. We got to preserve it in the best way we think possible. I think we should make pan our national instrument. You know, somebody talking about flute. I don't know what if flute really should be a national instrument, but I think pan is what it is. I remember as a boy growing up in this community, I used to have the dung heap where you see Judge Bays now, and we as children used to get butter tin and burn it, throw it in the fire to burn, and get a nail and a hammer and mark out notes in those butter tin and sing them, and turn tune on those pan. Right, you see this area, this pint area, when you come to pan, it's full of culture. At one time, pint having about 5 steel band. Hell's Gate, Harmonites, there was a female band, there was Superstar, and there was Schoolboy Harmonites. There was so much talent in the area at one time, but nowadays, most of the pan players are not even from the area. And that to me is a serious problem. But as I say, we got to take our culture very seriously. It's up to us to preserve it, to take it, analyze it from the beginning, see where it started, how it starts, and decide now where are we going to take it. How are we going to plan to develop it and make it become what we want it to be? Whether it be calypso, steel band, dances, whatever. As long as you have to do with our culture, you have to take it even more seriously and see how best we can preserve it. And we don't want its own independence. You can have our children beating pan. We want to know that they can even walk out of school with a pan degree. Yeah. So that they can continue. Even go anywhere in the world and play pan music and sing calypso to the best of their ability. So, as again I say, every generation have their mission, and it's either they're going to fulfill it or betray it. If they fulfill it, our culture will go places. If they betray it, then our culture wouldn't go anywhere. It will just stay where it is and just fade and fade and fade. And then we might be just singing ping plong, ping a ling a ling, ding ding dang dang. The Chinese music might take over. Just like how the Japanese handmen take over from our handmen. Right? When they introduced the synthesizer and all those things, everybody, our handman can't even blow and record it. Because the arranger now he gone with the Japanese handman. Easier for him, better for him. So. But it won't be easy, as I say. It all depends on the generation that come after. How they view our culture. If in school they learn our culture, how it started, and what they can do in order to develop it as to where it is now.
Back in your day, what made you gravitate to calypso? I mean, I would want to believe just like now, other genres were stirring, reggae and whatever. But what made calypso? What made people like Short? Because when you hear people like you speak, it's always back in the holidays, especially Christmas time, and so you hear. It's like it was always a thing for our local music to be playing on radio stations. My mom used to tell me she'd go fete and party and Short Shirt and Swallow and so play in the party, in the fete. But now you're going to a fete and you're not even hearing that type of music.
Well,
what you would say, what made you as a writer gravitate to our style then? What made you choose calypso over anything else?
Well, first, let me say, as long as I'm alive, it's my day. So I'm not one who's back in my day.
Oh, Lord, sorry.
Right? I'm still alive, so it's a day for me. Right? I grew up here in Calypso. That's basically what Calypso and soul music out of America. So most likely there wasn't anything else to gravitate on but Calypso. Like Christmas time now, you hear the different Calypso, Christmas music, and it wasn't even so much Calypso. Right, the Jim Reeves type of music, and the different thing. You never hear them in the Calypso form that you probably would hear the singing today. Right? It was a time of the year when, people just view Christmas as, a time for a lot of eating and drinking and a celebration, families get together. So there wasn't anything to hold on to. There wasn't any reggae for me until Bob Marley arrived. So before Bob Marley, it was just Calypso. So I had also gravitate on Calypso. It's either Calypso or Pan. Iron Band. You have no choice in this area when it comes to music. You want to sing Calypso, you want to play Pan, or you want to knock Iron Band. And I tell you what, we as children, when we grew up in Pint, we used to have our own mini carnival. I am not surprised that my son Ibiko ended up playing drums. I used to make my drum set from Clorox buckle and the same butter tin and just my drum set, and they're knocking them when we have our little children mini carnival. Our little queen show and our Calypso competition. There was a guy there by the name of James. He used to make his guitar from sardine tin. He put it on a piece of wood and run his nylon string. And we used to provide the music for the little children mini carnival that we have through some alley. The girls never used to have no bathing suit. What they do is to take the dress and roll it up under the panties so you look like you have on a bathing suit. And they perform as the queens. And the young, talking about 12 and under in those days, right? Yeah, that's how we used to be when you see we get summer vacation. But we didn't have anything else. Now we have a lot of social media. We have all kind of things. As well as Power said, school days were happy days. Maybe those days were happy days for our generation. But there wouldn't be happy days for this generation who don't even have a clue. You might hear your mommy say, they used to do this, and yes, she enjoyed it, but you wouldn't enjoy that today.
I'd like to thank you for giving us your time this afternoon to conduct this interview. It was really appreciated. On behalf of the Department of Culture, the Director, Mr. Cordis, we would like to say thank you.